grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worry on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny, sunny, sunny side of the street.
Hi, welcome to another On the Sunny Side of the Street. I'm your host, Todd Gross, a clinical psychologist and director of Adams Street Associates in Newton. And as you know, our show, The Sunny Side of the Street, we really focus on positive side of the news, positive side of human nature, which you don't usually see when you're watching TV news. And I think one very important part of the sunny side of the street are people that really have a sense of helping others do healing and helping them to use their own body's natural healing methods to help. So we're going to be focusing on a technique called Reiki, which you'll learn a lot about today, and hoping that you'll learn some things that are really interesting and maybe get a sense of how this technique is very, very important in helping a lot of people. So to help us do that, first I would like to introduce our guest, Elise Brenner. Hi, Elise.
Hi, Todd. Thank you for having me.
It's great that you came, and Elise is definitely a Reiki master and teacher, and you'll be hearing a lot about Reiki from her. And to her left, we have Helene Thornley. Hi, Helene.
Nice to be here.
And you are a hospice doctor and have also been a recipient of Reiki. So you'll have a couple perspectives, and also, I understand, use the Reiki in some of your work, too. So it'd be very good to hear. And I thought maybe as a way of starting, I'd ask Elise a little bit about how you got involved in working with Reiki and some of the work, the clinic that you've developed and some of its work and activities.
I'd be happy to. Well, my story of getting involved with Reiki, really, I'm a very skeptical person, scientific person, very down-to-earth person. Reiki would kind of seem to be the last thing I would stumble upon. And I actually began it from a physical healing. You know, Reiki works on all levels,
yes.
Physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. But
yes.
for me, it began where I was an aerobics instructor, as well as many other things, and I had my knee hurt, and I was worried about how will I get a sub for my class, and someone I knew had taken a Reiki class on a whim. She said, I really need someone to practice on. She came over, she put her hands on my knee. It felt amazing. I felt heat and tingling and an amazing sense just on the physical level. And believe it or not, I was able to teach my class. The same thing happened with my back a little while later, and the same person came, helped me, and I said, well, I wonder.
You really saw results.
I saw direct results. And an opportunity came to take a Reiki class, and I jumped for it. And then a whole world opened up to me, because little did I know that in addition to the physical level, Reiki works on these other levels and balances all the body.
Yes.
And puts it into alignment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this developed into a practice and a clinic, too, I understand.
That's right. So I've had a Reiki clinic operating every month in Newton. It's the first Friday of every month. I have a wonderful crew of volunteers. These are experienced Reiki practitioners that volunteer at the clinic.
I see.
And it's open to the public by appointment. There are half-an-hour appointments for a $10 fee. We see 9 clients a month at the clinic.
Well, this is wonderful for all the viewers to hear about. Many people may not know this.
That's right. That's right.
Tell me a little about the training that you would have to do to become a Reiki practitioner, too.
Sure. Well, first I want to remind the viewers that Reiki is not standardized or regulated in its practice in the United States. So there will be diversity in how people practice Reiki. And so there's room for all styles of Reiki practitioners, and people will find the Reiki practitioner and Reiki teacher that fits well with that individual.
Right.
But traditionally, there are 3 levels of Reiki training. Level 1 training prepares you to practice Reiki on yourself, which is something a lot of people don't know. Reiki self-practice, doing Reiki on yourself, is really the key and foundation of Reiki practice. It's a practice like yoga. You have to do it. Meditation, you have to do it. So Reiki self-care, and a Reiki 1 level training also allows you to practice Reiki on others, and that includes pets and other animals.
That's
a
good
lot
for
of
people to know, too.
are very much into animal Reiki.
Yes.
And so it's very empowering for someone to take a Reiki 1 training.
Yeah.
Right? In addition to Reiki 1, which again, it's a complete healing system of its own, and I never expected I would move beyond level 1 myself, and maybe many people feel that. Then there's level 2, and if one feels moved to move a little bit deeper into Reiki, level 2 would offer you more Reiki meditations. This is where people might be thinking about, as we say, being Reiki, not just doing Reiki. Reiki is a way of life, embodying the Reiki precepts. Okay. The way someone might speak about that for yoga or meditation.
Yes.
So level 2 is a little bit deeper. And a level 3 is pretty much if you want to teach others Reiki.
I see.
Which is a big step.
I see.
Yeah.
You mentioned on level 2 about the precepts. Can you say a little bit more for the audience? Because I think it'll help them to understand some of the precepts, some of the philosophy that underlies Reiki. They'll get a little better feel for what's in there.
So Reiki originated in Japan with a man named Mikao Usui. And he has these precepts, which are probably somewhat related to, he was a Buddhist, probably related, to the Eightfold Path, but a very simple layman's version. And he meant for the precepts to be contemplated and practiced with, similar to Reiki self-practice. And you can see the preamble. He says this is the secret to inviting happiness, to, just for today, release anger, release worry, to do your work diligently, to be kind to yourself and others, and to cultivate gratitude.
Wonderful principles.
What could be wrong with that?
Yes.
So they're, in a sense, they're deceptively simple, but most of us do struggle with releasing anger and worry and cultivating a positive emotional state.
Right.
Because we have distressing things in our lives.
Definitely. So those are the major principles.
Right. There is no dogma. It's not a religion. There's nothing you have to believe. As I say, skeptics welcome. Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. For a minute, I want to move a little to Helene, based on what you've said, and ask you, Helene, a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in Reiki and what your experience has been as a recipient of it, too.
So I live just around the corner from Elise, and I think I might have seen your clinic advertised in the Newton tab, and decided to go and see what Reiki was about. I had heard about it, but also skeptical, wondering how, just by putting your hands maybe not even on the person's body, how that could have any kind of benefit. So I went to one of your Friday clinics and felt it for myself, and it's really a wonderful relaxing, healing experience, and I try and go every first Friday of the month that I can. If I don't have something else to do, then I will come to the clinic if there's a slot for me.
I'm curious on what you're saying there too, Helene. Did you experience warmth, or I remember my wife also, who does Reiki, I always end up feeling almost like there's a heating pad on some part of my body that feels, and also just feelings of a flow of energy that's more positive. I'm curious what your sensations were like.
So warmth and just aiding in letting go of worries and stress, and I'm not quite sure how it happens. It's sort of almost like magic in a way, but it does seem to.
I would agree.
So, and I'm a hospice and palliative care doctor, and if we had Reiki available for every patient that I cared for, I think they would all benefit, and particularly. So some of the volunteers that work in hospice with me do Reiki.
It's wonderful. It's good to hear that.
And, particularly I see elderly patients, alone in nursing homes with no family to visit and, terrified, really scared about dying and lonely, and really just to have somebody hold their hand, or just that healing presence, the touch, or I mean, it's not specifically touch, but near touch. I think it's very healing, and they would really benefit from that. So we do have some volunteers who do Reiki, the hospice I work for. So
very loving, very positive, very healing.
yeah.
I wonder if I could ask you, Elise, a little bit more based on what Helene said. Some of the kinds of problems that people come to you with, and you mentioned a few of your own when you first started. I got a sense from what you said of some of the issues there at the hospice. I'd like people to hear the range as they're listening and thinking, I wonder if Reiki could be helpful to me or not. What would you say to them about what kind of issues? And
Of course. First, I would say that sometimes the issues, the conditions are like the layers of an onion. So someone might come in and they have some stomach distress.
Yes.
Maybe a gastritis, something like this. And that's what they come for. And they often do get some relief from that. But sometimes by the second or third visit, they'll say, you know, I also have trouble with my anger, or I'm very impatient, or I'm not getting along with people. Mm-hmm. And so then the emotional layer comes in. Maybe they're having trouble with decision making or completing a project, and Reiki can help with mental clarity and clear vision. Mm-hmm. I've had someone come to me, well, I'll preface this by saying I suffered myself from a pretty serious vestibular disorder, dizziness, vertigo, and didn't even think about Reiki having anything to do with it. But I took the Reiki class and I was doing Reiki daily on myself, and weeks and months went by without one of these vestibular episodes. Seems to have cleared it up, which is quite amazing. So I do see a lot of vestibular disorder people.
Okay.
And they may come for the vestibular disorder and get some relief from it. But I've also had people be able to, for example, finish writing a book that the individual was working on and had laid it aside, and it was weighing on the person's head for years. So I guess the way I would say it, people come for physical, they come for emotional, mental, and some people do come for spiritual.
Yeah, there's another level there too.
They
deepest.
do, and they come for that. But sometimes we can't predict the outcome. So it's one of the things we learn in Reiki is not to be attached to outcome. Mm-hmm. Someone might come in for the arthritis in their hand and find their relationship with their child much improved, and them being more patient and less judgmental to their child.
Yes.
It's very surprising, and it's a very wonderful gift.
And implied in what you're saying too is the intersection of all those mind, body,
That's
spiritual.
right. It is a holistic
I find that in
healing.
therapy, doing therapy with people too. Same
Of course, it is the same thing.
Yeah.
And with Reiki, often one will begin to use different words, more loving words, and be less reactive, because Reiki opens up the space for that. So instead of the reactivity, you're able to respond with who you really want to be. It brings something out from within that everyone has within them.
Well said. Well said. Just one more thought about that. When people come to you, this is also good for the audience to hear, are there some certain kinds of questions they usually ask you when they're first considering having Reiki treatment as an option?
That's a good question. I think what people want to know is they want to know that it can do no harm.
Yes.
They want to know that they lie fully clothed on a Reiki table, except maybe take off their shoes and their eyeglasses or clunky jewelry.
Right.
They do want to know if this will help me.
Sure.
Is this effective? Can this help me? Can I benefit from this? And here we often have to introduce the difference between curing and healing.
Right. Good point. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, for example, Helene works with people who are dying. Reiki's not going to prevent the death.
Right.
But it doesn't mean they have to have a fearful, they don't have to be full of fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. It does. One of the things that strikes me as we're talking about this, because I love this treatment, I think it's extremely effective and very helpful on the levels you're talking about. I love the way you're talking about it. What I think is a picture is worth 1,000 words. Right. So wonder if we could have you do a little demonstration so people would see a little bit of some of the positions and what it would look like to have a Reiki treatment. Would that be okay for you guys?
That sounds fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. you're going to be on the table. And Elise is going to show a little bit of some of the positions.
Taking off her shoes. And you're lying on your back. Now, I would like to say about the positions that we don't have to be robots about the Reiki hand positions, but there is a protocol that ensures someone gets a foundation treatment. I'm going to just slip some music on here.
And the music is an important part, too. You use that, don't you?
I think it's really helpful. This itself is Japanese flute music.
Oh, nice.
And it's
Very
relaxing in itself. And scientific studies have actually been done to see if music alone facilitates the same results as the music with the Reiki, in case it's just
That's
the
an
music.
interesting study,
and
yes.
the Reiki does make the difference.
I would believe that, yes.
So I usually begin sitting or standing behind the person and just placing my hands a feather touch here on Helene. Thank you. It's important for the Reiki practitioner to be fully present. If you're giving an hour session to somebody, you don't want to be doing, your shopping list in your head.
Exactly.
And then I would begin at the head here.
I see.
We may hold each hand position for 3, 4, 5 minutes, depending on the need and the sensation we may get in our hands.
Mm-hmm. So you're getting feedback too, energy kind of feedback.
Yeah, I think we have to be a little bit careful on what it all much. I may be feeling one thing and Helene may feel something different. Jackie, you may feel something different than I feel. I just know it works. So I wouldn't touch a client's throat. We never touch any private parts. Reiki can be given above the body as well, like this.
Yes. Will you sometimes close your eyes as you're doing it to
I
focus?
might.
Yeah.
I check in with the client. I wouldn't keep my eyes closed and go into my own spacey zone. This is something that's talked about, eyes open or closed. It's actually a conversation Reiki practitioners have. I say both. Usually at this point I'd come around to the side. So this facilitates a deep sense of relaxation, not just lying in your hammock on a Sunday afternoon relaxation, but the kind of relaxation that, strengthens the immune system, brings about positive brain chemicals, serotonin, dopamine. It regulates your blood pressure. So it's working on all systems of the body and the mind. Reiki itself refers to in Japanese soul energy. So you in a sense, call forth the best from within you through Reiki. And I'm not really doing anything to Helene. I'm actually pretty passive. It's working with her body's, like you said, self-healing abilities that I think in the West sometimes we forget to trust that.
Good point.
And at the Reiki clinic, it's a little miracle 9 times an evening that people come in, not literally off the street because they make an appointment, but the general public, and they open themselves to this. They lie on the table, which can be feeling like a kind of a vulnerable position with someone standing over them, and they can be open and receptive like that. It's really quite a little miracle. It's a very loving feeling that the practitioner has toward the recipient.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go to the feet. Sorry about that, Mike. Sorry. In a full hour, might have the recipient turn over. Of course, then I would go up the other side of Helene's body. But I won't do that here today because I don't think I can reach over there.
Thank you. Thank you. That was
Thank
a great
you.
demonstration. Felt very good. You had mentioned before different kinds of Reiki. Can you say a little bit about the different kinds too?
I think,
Even though I get the sense that there's some common principles no matter what. Once you get yourself the mic and everything set, that's great, yeah.
just like all Eastern traditions, Reiki is passed down in a lineage. Teacher, student, teacher, student.
Right.
And so each lineage can be slightly different. And one of the reasons for that is it was passed down in an oral tradition, which means students weren't allowed to write things down. For example, in Japan, in the early days when it came to the United States, no writing it down. So for that reason, there is variation. Also in the 80s, some New Age elements were added to Reiki, and some practitioners practice with maybe crystals or pendulums, angel guides. And some, like myself and others, it's more of a Reiki, pure and simple, to coin a phrase.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's why I say there's a practitioner for everybody.
Yes, it is the match between the people, too, always. There's another part of Reiki that I find fascinating. I'd love to hear your comments on, and I bet the audience is not familiar with this part, is the concept of distance healing, too, when you actually are doing healing, but the person is not right in front of you.
Sure, people can find that very esoteric, you know. Well, distance healing, just like prayer in religious settings, is based on the premise that of oneness, of non-duality, of non-separateness, that we are all part of one.
Yes.
Well, if we're all part of one, then we can transcend the distance between us through time and space. So the practitioner connects spiritually with the recipient who's not in the visual field. And I said, really? Really? When I took this class, when I took Reiki 2, I said, I'm so skeptical. But through the years, I have found that all kinds of Reiki that's done in person seems to be as effective far away. But people do like the touch.
Sure.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
My daughter had to take a certification exam. And of course, she was nervous, and she's in New York City. And I sent distance Reiki with a kind of an intention that the right answers would be like shine out at her, be illuminated. And she took the exam, and she passed, she did well. And she said, it's like the right answers shone right out at me.
That's great. Very funny. Yes. I also wanted to ask you, both of you, both from your hospice situation and yours, any brief stories where you've just felt like you really could see it in operation and it was exciting what you could see? You talked about people coming into the clinic and then how they look when they leave, you know. Any things also from the hospice setting? Have you noticed effects on people there?
I'm not a Reiki practitioner. I would like to attend the
Right.
class sometime soon, but I haven't. But I think just simple touch, even if you haven't done the training. I saw an old woman recently
Yes.
who was in a nursing home, and it was a damp day, and her knees were bothering her. She was in pain, and we tried to, you know, get her medication, which she couldn't swallow particularly. But I just, you know, using the same kind of principles, but I just stroked her forehead and stroked her hand.
Nice.
And that's what she really needed. It was just somebody, a human contact, that touch, and it was an amazing experience for me. I think it was very soothing for her too,
Yes.
but just to be there as a human being for
Right.
her. And, you know, she's just an old woman waiting to die, terrified, lonely, scared,
Yes.
in pain.
So that connection meant a lot.
You know, and just to that human touch.
Absolutely.
And I wished I'd known more of the positions, and I did then. When I left, I spoke to the volunteer coordinator to ask if we
Great.
could have a Reiki volunteer
Great.
to go
Yeah.
and see her, because that's what she needed. Very sad, you know, 6 daughters all arguing about whether she should or shouldn't have medication.
Yes, that
And nobody
kind
was
of
actually
stuff that
sitting at
happens
her bedside just holding her hand and giving her that human, you know, contact and just the comfort of that.
As we near the end, just one question. I
Yeah.
know we'll put this on the screen too, but how can people who have really heard about this and really recognize that it's really an exciting modality and an interesting way of life in a sense too, how can they contact you? How can they find out about how to either learn more or perhaps receive treatments too?
Sure. I have a website.
Okay.
And the name of my company is Brenner Reiki Healing.
Okay.
So it's www.brennerreikihealing.com. I'm on Facebook. My first name, Elise, last name Brenner, as well as Brenner Reiki Healing. And I have a phone number. People can call. Do I give that now?
Yes, you can give it. Sure.
It is 617-244-8856.
Well, thank you, Elise, and thank you so much. I really appreciate so much both of you being here and explaining the Reiki, and I hope people who are watching will really have a chance to avail themselves of it. Thanks for the explanation and for the description. It's been wonderful. And I also want to thank the audience for watching, and I hope you'll join us again soon for another On the Sunny Side of the Street. Take care, everybody. See you soon.